Hi, this is Lauren from Fast Office Computer Training, and I'm here to show you how to uh, calculate lapsed time. All right, this is for beta and anybody else who needs to calculate this. All right, so first of all, I just want to show you how time is viewed by Microsoft Excel. I'm just going to see this date. I have January 10th, 2015, 8:45 p.m. Actually, this is how we like to see it. It's easy for us. This is what we understand, but Excel doesn't understand that, so Excel actually understands it as a number. And because it's a computer, it needs to know it as a number or a decimal value. So I'm just going to press accounting so we can see what the number is quite easily. It's 42,014 days and 86% within that day. And that 42,014 is the number of days after January 1st, 1900. 0.86 is 86% of the day has lapsed. In other words, it's 8:45 p.m. All right? And that's just how Excel sees it. Now here, if I put this into number format, just make this wider so we can see it, all it shows is 42,014. It just assumes that we're not interested in the time, so it's not going to put the percent of the day gone by, whereas here all this shows is the percent of the day. We don't need to worry that it's 86% of the first day, or January 1st, 1900. That doesn't really matter. In this case, we're not going to be worried about that. In some cases, you need to be worried about that, but in this case, we don't need to worry about it. All right. So let's just change that back. I'm just going to undo a couple of times here, just change that back to dates. The other thing I wanted to show you is we're using 12-hour time format, AM, PM. And the other thing, what we're going to end up with is a formula that works even when somebody starts in the evening and ends in the morning. Okay. And finally, if there's, we just know the start time and the person hasn't finished yet, it's not going to display anything in the hours column. All right, so let's go and copy. Well, I'm not just going to copy and paste, obviously. Let's go and redo this whole formatting. So for the formatting here, again, it's showing AM, PM. I'll just show you the format. I just clicked on the number dialog box launcher and opens up the number tab in the format cells dialog box. So here we go. And this is the format. I call it a custom format because if I choose time, it just enters a bunch of other things in there, such as seconds and a location code and etc. So I like to create custom, make it nice and clean code, and then click OK. So that just represents hours, minutes, and AM, PM. Now if I didn't have AM, PM here, it would just assume I mean 24-hour period. Okay, so click OK. Now with the hours, we need to do something different, because if we enter something in hours, it's just going to assume that it's within a 24-hour clock. All right, so we need to say to Excel that no, I just want number of hours, whether it's 24 hours, it's not clock hours. I want straight hours. So there isn't a lapsed time function. This is the lapsed time function, is when you put the hours in square brackets. It's going to look at that as lapsed time, or hours worked is an example of that. And it's not going to be limited to 24. So we don't need to worry about putting AM, PM here because it's unrelevant at this point. Okay? So click OK, and that's how these are formatted. All right, so the formatting is really important. Okay, when you're doing times, once you have the formatting done, and this is something that often people forget, that I know how to calculate time, but how come it comes out wrong? It's just because you've formatted the cells incorrectly. Okay, so now that we have the format correct, it becomes a really simple calculation. So I'm going to start time is 6:15 a.m. I didn't have to type a.m. because it's going to assume a.m. and 7:15 a.m. Also, if I put it in lower case, it's going to adjust it to uppercase automatically. Okay, so I'm going to, this should return a value of 2 hours. So I'm just going to enter calculation, and I'm going to subtract the start time from the end time, and there's my 1 hour. Oops, I don't know why I said 2 hours, but if I had put 8:15, that would have said 2 hours. But there's my time lapsed for this calculation. So that's a really simple calculation. Now the problem is, like you have up here, we have 8:45 p.m. So if I change this to p.m., I end up with a number that's not useful. Okay, and I don't need to see that. I know it's not going to be useful with this calculation. So let's edit that formula. I just pressed F2 to edit. Now I'm in edit mode, and I can use my arrow keys to edit the formula. So if, and what I'm going to do is create an if statement. I'm going to put a bracket around there. And the if statement is if this unusual condition exists, or logical test, okay, then I'm going to do this calculation, okay, or the value of true. If it doesn't exist, or the normal condition exists, then I'm just going to do the normal calculation. So the unusual condition, or the logical test, if you will, is this is larger than that. The start time is more than the end time. So here, let's, if F12 is greater than G12, okay? So there's the unusual condition. And what are we going to do if that unusual condition exists? I'm going to add 1 to G12, so G12 plus 1, and that 1 represents a day. So I'm adding a day to G12, subtract F12, okay? So now we should get the 13 hours, right? And that's the basic calculation. So if I enter 5:05 a.m. and 7:03 a.m. And I copy this formula down, I'm going to get 1 hour and 58 minutes. Okay, and that makes sense here. All right. Now, just a little added something that we need to add to this formula, because if I enter a number here, it's going to return 15 hours and 49 minutes. Okay, so in this case, because I entered 8:11, and it's going to assume that this is 0, so this is more than that, and etc. So let's not trying to explain what's going on here. We just need to fix it. So I'm going to go back up here, press F2. Now I'm in edit mode again. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the beginning of this formula and type if, and what I'm going to do is blank. Okay, what I'm doing here is if G12 is blank, then I'm going to insert a blank cell in this column, okay, and that's just helps you prevent any errors. Okay, so it's going to be a blank cell if that is if the end time is blank. Okay, and then I need to go. I'm just going to press F2 again, make sure I'm in edit mode, and just go to the end of this formula and put the end bracket in. Neat little trick to know if you're doing a lot of nesting, the last bracket is going to be black brackets, so I just want to make sure I have enough brackets here, and then I'm going to double click on the autofill button, and it's going to fill that in all the way down. So now it's not going to show anything until I put something in there. Okay. So that will help you, Beta, with the elapsed time, the travel time field. And if you have any more questions, just contact me at lauren@fastofficetraining.com, and I'll be willing to help out. That's LORIN at fastofficetraining.com. Hope this has been helpful, and we'll talk to you later.